And welcome back to Game 4 of G2 versus BDS. Crownie and Adam have already taken their seats on the stage, waiting to be joined by the rest of BDS as G2 come out to the battlefield once again. I'm still Medic, that's still Caedrel, in the middle is still
And I've renamed
Vedius.
to Lord
Sifa.
Emperor Vedius.
Okay, cool. Like your Baldur's Gate playthrough, where you're the most intelligent person in the world who
Correct.
fails all his intelligence checks.
I've never failed intelligence
You have.
checks, actually. Nope. There is not a save where I failed any intelligence
There is a save
checks.
where you blew me up with a fire for
Vedius,
no reason.
click my mouse. It's a dice to the roll 1 to 20. Click
Okay, here we are.
Roll
Yeah.
it.
A 4.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I've got +4 int, and then I've also got +4 the other thing.
You've definitely got +4 int. I've watched you play Nocturne.
Yeah.
A 4.
So, yeah, I've actually got 16 right there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome.
Nice.
Pass.
It's a DC 20, a little bit like BDS, or winning on red side in this series.
What is?
DC 20. It's basically really difficult to do.
Oh.
No one's done it yet.
Did you just say BDS is going to win this game?
Well, if they're on blue side, that's historically what's happening.
True.
You know?
He's got the science there.
My fishing rod didn't get a bait.
I mean, that's just bad
get a fish.
fishing.
Yeah.
You're the one that puts the bait on.
No, okay, I meant the fish. I didn't mean it was the fish.
Never thought of it like that before. Yeah. You should have said no one took the bait. That is
Yeah, no one
That's
took
what,
the
that's what he meant.
Yeah.
The pedant that I am.
Yeah,
So BDS on the blue side, going to get rid of Draven. Callista's been their second ban every time. G2 removing Rel to kick us off. And there's the Ivan ban this time from G2.
Finally gone. Sheo will have to play a different champion.
Is it the Evelyn runback? I see smirks on BB's face. Wouldn't surprise me if they were just like, well,
Might as well.
we have a 5th game worst case.
Yep.
So we could
And
get
we
blue
could
side
blue
next
side,
game.
Yeah.
Stage
So-
practice, you know?
We could just play Maokai jungle this game. Oh, the Maokai's
Maokai.
gone through.
Wow.
Definitely, I
Sheo
don't
is
think I'll
like
play Evelyn into Maokai in competitive. That doesn't
man
sound
of
fun.
the trees in today's series. See what G2 respond with. I'd prefer not a Renekton first pick. Nice.
Ah, Trundle duty for your Evelyn game, Yike. You are punished for griefing.
Historically, with G2 players, junglers, that's what happens, right? It's like Sejuani duty, Trundle duty, Maokai duty.
Braum duty in some occasions.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
In the funnel meta, yeah.
There's the Trundle locked in. Can, of course, still go top, but usually you see in the jungle into the Maokai. Could even go support if you really wanted to. Don't see that too often.
How would you
these
feel
days.
about a Braum lock-in now?
Terrible. Rakan is open. Insta-lose.
Instantly.
Insta-lose game. Yeah, they would have slammed Rakan into it. I feel like blinding support's a bit hard here unless you pick on 3. But there's Caps' Neeko, which is really important because Caps is a very good Neeko. So what's Nuke's answer? They should know that this would have been picked up on the 1-2. And it's going to be the Ahri. Now, I've seen this matchup a lot in the LCK and the LPL. Neeko does really well in this lane in most cases. Like, the Ahri really struggles if he doesn't want to go that direction there, Nuke. So, gonna go back to Crownie's Zeri. They don't have the Ivern, so not as much protection as last time. They can try for a Zeri Lulu later on in the draft if G2 don't try and cover that off. Could pick Rakan here. Might run into some kind of melee support on 3, like a Nautilus from Mikyx. Alternatively, matching mid makes sense. The Renekton could be something they want to go into with the Kled ban on 1, 2, 3.
The problem is, well, the thing about Renekton is it's considered like a safe blind, right? If you want to save other picks for later on in the draft, you can just lock it in. But there are still counters. Things like Nara is still very good into the matchup. We also saw Darius from Adam come out. But the Tristana makes a lot of sense. We're having a throwback to what we saw in Game 2. The early Nautilus suggests that we may very well be seeing a Braum ban coming out from the side of G2, something that they chose not to ban in Game 2. I imagine that will change here in Game 3.
Surely.
Surely they'll ban the Braum.
Ah,
See, we're so smart.
That's the beauty of a best of 5. You learn from your mistakes or learn from, you know, matchups in a sense where I feel like Brown Maokai would just give Nautilus the same treatment, just even worse, you know. Just it's definitely can't move. So 80 bans coming out. Jeremy Kalista, now the Xayah with the Zeri takeaway. I think Hansam has really struggled to find an 80 carry. With the Nautilus, they can't really go towards the Kog'Maw, you have to imagine. We saw Ezreal already. Ezreal Nautilus also not the best.
Is this a Sivir angle?
I want the Samira game. I feel like it could work. It's just the case
The
of
Maokai, Trist,
yeah, they would
Zeri.
play Maokai Alistar, and I think that Samira is just gonna be played ping pong with. Like she's not moving.
I don't mind Sivir here as well.
Yeah,
Good
it's
follow-up.
okay.
But if they can pick Alistar.
I mean, yeah, I think Alistair's a problem for most of the AD carries that I can think of in this sort of position.
Yeah, but Sivir especially, it feels like. And with the Ezreal ban,
Probably what they were thinking.
they're definitely going to go Alistar, you have to imagine, right? I mean, Alistar not only does good into whatever AD they'll pick here, but also knocking away the Neeko can be quite nice.
I mean, how many 80 carries are gone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 80 carries gone. And some of
You count Tristana?
Yeah, I was counting.
Okay, I was
Tristana,
gonna
yeah. What about MF?
It's Aphelios time. Kai'Sa time.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Kai'Sa's still up, so...
Yeah, I feel like BDS could just go Alistar Renekton here if they want to, or Alistar Darius. Jax could be an answer, but I think BB might just lean towards a Poppy top then, and I think that's a bit of a pain if they're playing Poppy top into Tristana Jax.
I'd be very surprised to see an Akali into Neeko. That is not a fun matchup whatsoever. Alright, so the Jax locked in.
Ooh, we're getting the Rakan.
Okay.
Interesting.
So they want a little bit more utility.
And there's the
sorry,
Poppy.
engage.
Yeah, I think that Poppy pick, like the Rakan also gives it so much value. It's like an insta slam. It's just so good against all of their champions there, the Poppy. So G2, not as much dive as before, but they still have the Neeko, the Kai'Sa can jump in, Trundle for early game, winning jungle support, winning top matchup. I think they're just gonna have to be careful around mid and making sure that Caps is safe and happy.
I also just think that the Poppy ult is so good against these compositions where you kind of have a very obvious front line and then a clear back line, right? Because Poppy can either yeet the back line away, making it easier to kill the front line, or if you can get a good ult, you can just remove the front line, giving you easier access onto the back line. It also makes playing around things like Baron or Dragon that much easier as well. So even though Maokai offers a lot of value by just throwing down the ultimate and trying to zone you away from an objective, Poppy can do the same thing by instantly creating a numbers advantage. As you rightly said, a lot of dive on the side of G2 with things like the Nautilus wanting to go in, the Neeko as well, paired up with the Kai'Sa especially. But we'll see how things play out. BDS have kind of stuck to their style pretty much throughout this entire series. They've tried to go for the scaling, and it ultimately comes down to whether or not they can get through the early game. In the game that they did, they looked very strong, but in the games where they didn't, G2 ran away with it.
Winner of the series obviously goes on to the upper bracket, as the loser will play up against SK. Winner also makes it through to Worlds as one of our top 3 seeds. The loser has another shot at the cherry against SK later on as we get on to Summoner's Rift for our 4th game of the day.
Winner goes to Worlds. That's really important for a team like G2. They really want to get themselves back there. It was 2021 when they missed out to Fnatic, and ever since, other than that year, they've made it pretty much every year, I believe, and always been one of our strongest teams at the international events. For BDS, it would be a very big task to win the next 2 games here, especially given the fact they'll be on red side for the 5th to punch there to get to Worlds, but they'll get another chance up against SK next week, I believe.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's SK, because in the lower bracket, XL and Fnatic is locked, which means that whoever loses this is guaranteed to go against SK. And then the winner of that will then move into the matchup between the winner of XL and Fnatic. And then if you lose that, you will go into the Worlds qualifying matchup against Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how things pan out there. Still a lot left to be determined in terms of our season final.
Still, 3 weeks after this one as well to go before we are over in Montpellier. 3 weeks before. 2 weeks
Montpellier.
before. Occitanie.
No, Occitanie.
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 Neither of us speak
Two
good
Englishmen trying to argue how to pronounce it.
Bonjour?
Come on, you're Spanish, help us.
What? All those romantic languages have the same roots as the Ignite goes down onto Labrov. He has to flash away. Mikyx gets the second route onto Crownie. And someone starts to put the damage down. Labrov down to about 120 HP there in that exchange.
Come on, your diamond helped them.
What? What was?
Here's the last thing. He's not even diamond.
What are you doing, man? Where'd that come from?
No, it's nice, though, to say diamond.
I mean, the other way you could interpret it is BDS are playing worse than diamond players.
That's how I interpreted that. Yeah, that's how I'm like, whoa, bro, whoa, man.
Whoa.
Holy moly, Mark. You're gonna have to get more
G2 are playing
creative.
better.
Yeah.
No, I think you were just there to flame people, Mark.
No, I was trying to find a way to sneak it in.
Yeah, I know. It's like your only insult you've got for me. I'm gonna be honest.
Hey, we used the playoffs insult with Mark for like 3
that's
years,
fair, that's
okay?
true.
What do you mean 3 years? You still do it.
Mikyx looking for the second route. Sheo on his way across. Crownie going in. Handsummer tries to flash away, but the Twisted Ones, it will follow him. Crownie gets the first kill. Mikyx will be short to follow. A double for BDS in the bottom lane. It's more of a Emerald play in my mind, but what do you think, guys?
That was a fantastic play from Sheo. Full clear bot side into gank. Caught G2's bot lane completely off guard, and you've handed Crownie 2 kills. We think back to game 2, when Crownie secured an early advantage. He snowballed the game out of control, and BDS looking to replicate that success.
G2 just want to crash the wave, don't they? And the hook goes in to try and trade to push them back here. Mikyx gets knocked up, but it's the Sheo connecting onto Hansama that's the nail in the coffin. As much as he gets the cleanse and the route isn't that long, it's Crownie that can flash forwards and get the kill. And that's a level 2 Zeri with a double kill. Yep. So, gonna spell a lot of danger later on.
Adam, counter-strike in, looking for the stun of caps. He has to flash away. Yike coming in, as well as Mikyx flashes forward for the root. Nuke has the flash to get across the wall here. Yike in a little bit of a tricky situation. Can just walk his way through. Adam going back in. BrokenBlade on his way to collapse.
Poppy's
the
coming.
Counter-strike, as you say. Poppy on her way across, and Adam knocked into the wall way too deep from the BDS top laner as Nuke dashes forward onto Caps. Should be able to kill him off with the explosive shot. Gets a reset as well, but won't go for more. 1-for-1 in the trade.
Kills going to the correct members here for BDS. 2 onto Zeri now, 1 onto the Tristana. Caps losing his flash, and BrokenBlade had to use his to kill Adam off. So a lot of action in this early game.
Respect to BDS coming into game 4. They're not shying away from a skirmish, and Sheo making his presence known on the map. Nice roam from Adam. Very typical Adam, I would say, constantly looking to get out on the map ahead of his laning phase, or during his laning phase, I should say. He sees an opportunity here. Caps presses the W to buy a little bit of time, flashes out to safety as Mikyx offers a bit of assistance. Then Yike joins the fray, and they think we can get this kill onto Nuke, but then they realize with the arrival of Labrov, perhaps they would be overextending. Adam then sees an opportunity here. Even though the Poppy is on the way down, the fact that Caps is so low means that it's not an easy fight for G2, but overextends, in my opinion, a little bit, hands the kill over to Caps, but then Caps is isolated from his team. He's low enough that Nuke can secure that kill. And as Caedrel said earlier, Nuke now with 1, Crownie with 2. Early game still looking good for BDS.
I think if Labrov had been level 3, it would have been a lot better, because he could dance up onto Adam and then get the knock-up from the Grand Entrance, but because he was only level 2, he only had the Gleaming Quill and the Grand Entrance, and it became harder for him to actually follow up on Adam's engage.
Yike with the Hex Flash, looking for an opportunity, won't be able to find one. Yike on his way bot. Gromp is respawning, but there's a good ward in the river from BDS to spot this out. He's going to walk over it right now. And with the push in mid from Nuke, he should be able to collapse quickly into the river. Ward drop from Yike, and he realizes, you know what, this isn't worth it. Something strange is afoot.
The level in top, Adam's level 4, previous level 6. Just going to take over to 5 now, but suffering a little bit from that early roam. But here comes Sheo. Yike still has flash. Mikyx has the Hex flash. No flash on the Maokai means going deep is a bit tricky.
And BDS have done this every single game. Like, start up a dragon around the 6-minute mark, try and get the stacking up. Crownie pushing in the mid lane, already has, the bot lane, already has the Noon Quiver complete. Nuke as well with a push in mid, with Caps having backed away to reset and get himself that Hex-like alternator. This should be an easy enough secure for BDS. Labrov is trying to keep Yike around. Mikyx going forward, they get on to Sheo and they burst him out of it. Already Sheo down, the smite away from Yike as well, the Pop Blossom coming in. Nuke dashing forward, gets 1 in response, tries to jump across the wall, flashes away from the Tangle Barbs. A 1-for-1 exchange, but the Dragon going over to G2.
Yeah, I mean, not the worst outcome for BDS. They would have preferred to secure the Dragon, but the fact that Nuke gets another kill, and the fact that Caps' ultimate wasn't able to connect onto anyone, fair play to Nuke. He played that fight about as well as he could have, and he gets away with a big advantage. Hansama now looking for a bit of a skirmish, then nice trade onto Crownie. But he will have the safety of the minions avoiding Mikyx's hook.
Poor Mikyx. Good hook onto Labrov. There's the heal, knock up, but not enough damage really from Crownie right now, with Mikyx blocking all the shots. The burst fire not doing enough. Flash away from Labrov as he's hit with the second of those staggering blows.
Really thought Hans was going to ult there.
He can't. He's playing Halo Blades against lethal tempo, and Crownie has mana for ult. I think if he dashes in, he's probably going to get Labrov, but he's going to die for it. In his mind, it's not worth it, is it? If you can get the kill onto Zeri, perhaps, yeah, but it's tricky with lethal tempo fully stacked.
So he chooses not to overcommit. Either way, just a very back and forth trade in the bot lane. No summoners up, but Flash about to come back up for both Crownie and Hans. 9 seconds on Hans, and same for Crownie. So overall, pretty even in the bot lane. But the gold gap closed a little bit between the two teams. 8 minutes means that the Herald is going to be spawning right now. And just in time, Yike is in position. Question is, will he actually look to start it? Mikyx on his way down. Not quite level 6 yet. Of course, in terms of early skirmishing, you have to give the edge to the Trundle over the Maokai. But Maokai, with that ultimate, means that they will have a way to gain access towards this objective.
Yeah, trying to get this one down. Sheo looks like he's moving away because of the support tempo difference. Mikyx's already here. Nibi doing some nice trades onto Adam. Might have to jump away. He will. Static Shield picked up for Crownie. Herald picked up for G2. Where can they place this? Where can they get some gold leads? It's going to have to be mid-bot, isn't it? I mean, you could put it top. But do you really want to give more gold to this Poppy? I think BrokenBlade is just going to be kind of nullifying this Jax the majority of the game.
I mean, it looks like they might just want to funnel the tank. BrokenBlade half HP right now. Yike maybe just making sure the wave comes in. Adam going forward with the counter-strike. BrokenBlade has to flash away, and Yike tanks the turret shot as well. Subjugate was used there by Yike.
How did... I missed how BrokenBlade actually got aggro on the tower there. I thought that it was
It was a W.
Yeah, the W does damage when you jump into it. So
that's the W, right?
Yep.
Fair. I mean, Adam nearly punished that well. Traded flashes top. Not the end of the world for either side. Plate secured for Crownie now. No neutral objectives on the map, so you kind of start looking at these towers and seeing where G2 could funnel the Herald, and BDS want to try and mitigate as much damage as possible. Maybe even choose to cross map. But overall, very even game state early on. No clear favorites outside of the few extra kills that BDS have.
I feel like there's 2 dead side lanes in this game, you know? Like, Adam's gonna base now. BrokenBlade just gonna push in and Adam's gonna farm for Sunder. Double static complete means they're just bouncing waves into each other. So until Dragon spawns, I don't know if much will happen. Nuke doesn't have flash, so if Mikyx gets 6, he can maybe try to roam towards mid, get vision towards mid bot side and try to punish that with his flash. But other than that, I think it's just going to be a push and move kind of game on both sides. Unless Caps can get a route through these minions, maybe follow up with an ult, if his support is around.
Yeah, unfortunately, Caps doesn't have any Krogs to steal away the form of a little one right now.
Does have a Gromp, though.
Yeah, but it's just not, you know,
one of
little Krog. It's got its own theme song.
Yeah, but one of the funniest things I've seen was Canyon running around as Gromp, ganking every lane left, right, and center. So I'm still down for the rise of the Gromp.
It's funny, you could like, instead of saying little bro, you could say little Krog.
Yeah. You could say that as Nuke goes forward with the damage on the Caps. It's Pop Boss and busts the shot away. Labrov coming in as well with the quickness as Caps tries to escape, but it's an absolute massacre in the mid lane. BDS collapse, another double for Crownie, and top it up with 1 for Nuke to boot.
That was a flawless execution from BDS. Nuke punishes Caps, prevents him from getting the ultimate off. Meanwhile, the 3-man stack of Sheo, Crownie, and Labrov punish Yike and Mikyx in the river. Kills across the board, cementing themselves with an early game lead.
Nuke jumps in and just pushes Caps back, doesn't he? Good mechanics from the mid laner of BDS, and then just follows up with the reset as he tries to flash away, and then it's just Crownie show, isn't it? With the CC from the Maokai and the Rakan, just instantly kills 2 of them. 4-0 on the Zeri now. The Tristana also has 3 kills of her own. That's 7 kills total for the entire team on both of these carries. And they're going to get quick towards these 2 items, the Navori and the Shiv. So this front to back is just falling apart ready for G2. As much as they have the Poppy and the Nautilus to try and disrupt the front line of BDS, I think this Tristana Zeri is just going to shred through everyone.
And if we've learned anything from this series, it's that early game leads tend to result in wins.
Yep.
And they can often be pretty quick as well. We've had surprisingly fast games in this series. BrokenBlade getting some good trades onto Adam. He needs to be very careful here.
Adam has the mana here. No ward for him to jump to, but with the minion wave coming in, Adam should be able to escape. BrokenBlade not enough mana really to chase that one down. Riftail used in the mid lane.
Yeah, just rolled over to Caps. I think Adam might have the Sunder in base, which is going to sting for BrokenBlade. Caps needs to get towards that rocket belt. And Sama's still stuck under tower. Dragon's already gone over to G2, so with the Mountain Soul, they can try to stack these dragons, try to contest them, but they're not forced to. I just feel like G2 might have to fight them no matter what, because Tristana Zeri already, with such a great start, scales so well.
Not trying to dash away from this. Knocks back Yike with the blast cone, but let's use the grand entrance to escape. Nature's Grasp here. Mikyx still has the flash to try and jump across this wall, but already takes a lot of hurt as Nuke can look for more. Buster shots him back. And Nuke now on a rampage. 4-0-0 on the Trist.
I mean, the two carries are just ultra fed right now for BDS. They're being accelerated beautifully. And they're in a fantastic position to carry this game. Exactly what we saw from them in game 2. Caps needs to be a little bit careful here. Labrov still has the flash and the quickness.
I'm just surprised the amount of fight BDS is putting up against G2, and we saw them in the finals how dominant they were versus XL. Them just being a cut above the rest of the teams, we thought, and BDS was struggling in summer to replicate their results in spring. After this short break, now you're in a situation where they could take us to 5. As Caps tries to pretend to be a minion, tried to chunk out Nuke, but this is an insane game state for BDS.
It really is. Hansama going in, the lightning crash immediately used. Labrov gets the charm through the killer instinct to flash away from Hansama. Oh, what a hook! Gets him to safety, but a superb hook! Mikyx takes the shutdown, not what you want if you're a G2 fan, but able to find something out of nothing there.
Wow, a clean series of mechanics demonstrated there. Hansama even tried to ult away from the quickness. He still got caught by it. Labrov, fast fingers able to connect that one, but a splendid hook from Mikyx means that the chain CC onto Crownie was enough. The only downside for G2 is that it was Mikyx who got the kill, so he ended up benefiting from the shutdown. Hansama didn't quite get that gold, so still a 1.5k gold lead for Crownie. He will complete the Navori. They're still in a very powerful position.
All of G2 running out towards this top side. They're dropping bot tier 1. Take a look at the replay though, but Hans just kind of ease into Crownie, and Crownie says, hang on a second, ultimate instantly starts fighting back. Tries to dash away from the ult, gets charmed up, flashes the knock. What that hook was insane by Mikyx to land it onto the Zeri, and then they lose to 2v2 there, BDS, when they're so far ahead. Herald's up, G2's all top side. Nuke's gonna push in bot and get a tower for free. BrokenBlade really doesn't want to TP down there. He's gonna have to watch the tower fall and save it for this top side fight if BDS decide to contest it.
BDS 2000 gold ahead as the Rift Herald start. The fight begins. Adam TPing up towards the top lane. Has just finished those Ionian boots of Lucidity. Reminder, the winner of the series is guaranteed one of our top 3 world spots. G2, they've been there many, many times before, but for BDS, an organization that only joined the LEC 2 years ago, what an improvement it would be. Is the counter-strike coming out onto Mikyx from Adam. He flashes away. Sheo with the Nature's Grasp, but Adam's already fallen. Labrov now trying to get away from it as Sheo turns his attention over to the Rift Herald. Labrov will be able to escape. Crownie picks up the Rift Herald eye. And G2 do get a kill, but they lose the objective off the back of it.
They're looking for top tier 1 or trying to look for a dive onto Nuke, but there's no wave. Hans doesn't have ultimate yet. They're really chasing this. They can maybe get his flash. See if Caps can get in range with the flash.
Nuke tries to bust a shot back. Pop Blossom flash immediately. Nuke tries to flash away but can't escape it. As the Pop Blossom lands, Rift Herald used in the mid lane. That will get one charge off and take down the tier 1. Labrov now looking for the flank as Yike and Caps a little bit behind enemy lines. The Rift Herald still charging in. Caps going low. The quickness comes out and he'll fall. Labrov now looking for Yike as Crownie continues to push in mid. He's taking the tier 2. And in the end, an exchange of towers and kills across the map.
A crazy series of events. The overcommitment onto Nuke, the initial pick onto Adam, Crownie doing the smart thing of just cross-mapping into mids, dropping the Herald down to be able to at least get some objectives back in the favor of BDS. The gold difference hasn't really changed. 3k in favor of BDS. But wow, unfortunately for Nuke, he actually flashed the wrong way. And it ended up giving a kill over, but fortunately Sheo was able to get something back.
Yeah, I can see Crownie in live spam-pinging the dragon, trying to calm his team down, saying we don't have to get sucked into these fights. And don't want to make the game messy because G2 really want to stack up those dragons. But here's the first kill onto Adam. The fight then dies down as Crownie then moves towards mid, but it's the chase onto Nuke. Look at the wave. The wave's gone. But BrokenBlade will walk past the wave and just start spam-pinging him, saying, guys, we need to look for this kill on Tristana. And this is where we'll see the flash from Nuke. I'm not sure even if he flashed backwards, he'd get out of range.
I think he's trying to flash up because Caps flashes on top of him.
Yeah, I think he thinks that he can flash up. Yeah, if he flashes down, he's getting hit. So I can kind of see what he's doing there.
That's fair, yeah. I get the idea.
Still very difficult to get out of a Pop Blossom when the person is flashed on top of you. Keeper's verdict. Is it guilty? Not quite. It's Sheo able to secure the dragon now for BDS, and Nature's Grasp has been used as BDS look for a little bit more, but now Caps, he's coming in as a minion, and the Pop Blossom gets 2. Adam and Sheo locked up. Sheo already down. Labrov in the middle of the pit. He's going to fall as well. 2 kills to G2.
They punish the dragon. BDS get there first, and they secure it to the nice hold points from G2, but they managed to pick up kills off the back of it. Crownie had to flash out of the pit as well. Weren't in a great position there, BDS, to play a front to back. Adam doesn't really provide a lot of front line, so he had to split off to the side, and Sheo died extremely quickly with the Demonic Embrace, doesn't have the Radiance Virtue.
What I'll say though is, even if G2 are finding these kills, the backline of BDS is just completely untouched here. Good secure from Sheo. BDS see a window where they can win a fight here because it's 4 versus 5, but they're kind of stuck in the pit right now. Caps comes in with the ultimate. Obviously BDS immediately tries to disengage, so Nuke and Crownie, they get over the wall as quickly as they can. They have to leave Labrov behind, but again, Nuke and Crownie still live. Crownie did lose his flash, Nuke still doesn't have it available, but as long as they continue to farm up and they're staying relevant in this game, BDS have a very clear win condition.
They do. For a pick here, RG2, see if Adam falls for the bait. Not gonna go walk up and look for the next top wave, so he'll be fine.
Just paths back down. Yike and Caps not seen as they work their way towards this next bush. Adam might step up now.
He's gotta be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Yike and Caps coming out of the bushes, and Adam pops the counter-strike. Pop Blossom will lock him up. Mickey there with a hook as well, and Adam not given a chance to move away at all, but BDS perhaps looking for a collapse. Can't quite find it. Labrov and Sheo just on that front line. Nuke here to join. Crownie there as well. The TP in from BrokenBlade. G2 want to take this fight now. Crownie with a lightning crash didn't actually hit onto anyone, but the Ultra laser does so much work, and Nuke jumps forward. Look for Yike, needs a bit more damage. The Buster shot enough. BDS pick up 2. Unsummer dodging around the edge of the fight. BrokenBlade now in the midst of them all. Knock. Keeper's verdict finds 1. Crownie left all to his lonesome as G2 find another.
Very well played by BrokenBlade to knock away Nuke. He would have died otherwise to the AD carries, and as much as Nuke was low HP, he had to get in the hell out of there, otherwise Unsummer would be able to step up. TP from Adam coming in. Unsummer.
Nuke jumps forward. Unsummer gets away in the nick of time. Not the same to be said for Caps and BrokenBlade though. Sheo on the chase. In fact, they may just escape. No CC left for BDS to continue that chase down.
Debating if a Baron is on the cards right now with 15 seconds left, but Sheo needs to base. Not going to be any risk. Wow, what a chaotic series of events. Caps does interrupt the base from Adam. He still needs to base himself, doesn't have the TP available. Bremen, this starts off with Adam getting caught in the top lane. The collapse from Yike and G2, sorry, Yike and Caps with Mikyx on the lower end means that he has no real way of escaping. But then BDS recognizing a 4v4, we should be stronger, so they're happy to take the fight.
They see the TP from BrokenBlade in bot side river, and they say we have to turn upwards here, I think is what BDS is saying. We can't afford to run away, we'll get chased down by the Poppy. So then Sheo marks off the Poppy in just a second here. After getting the engage, he's going to run down and force BrokenBlade back as Nuke goes forward. So he slows down the Poppy as much as possible. Then BrokenBlade arrives and looked quite bad, actually. I think the double AD carry would just tear straight through this Poppy, but then he actually decides to ult one of them away. Crownie no flash from the Dragon fight. Get a kill at the hands.
So being 2 for 2 overall. Tries to find a pick onto Labrov, won't be able to turn it into anything as BDS clear out the vision in the Baron pit. Things are getting tense here in game 4. G2 of course 2-1 up. If they win this, they will secure top 3 in the season finals. Will appear in Montpellier and will lock a spot on the world champion. Will lock a spot on the world championship. BDS though, they're in a position to bounce back. Of course, this gold gap has only gotten smaller as G2 have been able to find pick after pick. And we'll see if BDS can convert this into a win.
Just looking at the game state, 40 seconds on Dragon. I'm not quite sure what the Jax really provides for BDS right now is the only pain point for them. Because the Maokai and the Rakan are disruption frontline. But the Jax, oh, here comes the Poppy actually.
Straight on to Crownie, the hook coming out as well. The Crownie is just deleted. The Pop coming back with the quickness as Nuke jumps forward. TP in from Caps. As he looks to join the fray. Sheo low, the Pop Blossom finds Nuke, and that's exactly the target they wanted. The counter strike from Adam. All on his shoulders now, but BrokenBlade and G2 perfectly tanking the tower. No one dies from G2.
Beautiful play from BrokenBlade with zero hesitation. Caps looking for more, has the minion wave so he can keep pressuring, but that's going to be a Baron. BrokenBlade just walks into mid, lands the stun onto Crownie, and then as the rest of BDS try to punish G2, it's just kill after kill, and not a single member drops. Just like that, G2 have blown this game wide open in their favor.
The power of the Poppy, and Crownie has no cleanse. These AD carries got a lot of items and a lot of kills. But the thing is, you get hit by a Poppy stun, doesn't matter how much gold you have in terms of damage, you're just one shot from the amount of CC that G2 have. managed to get out. Does BrokenBlade re-engage? Is okay from BDS, but Nuke can't get any damage off. Gets hooked, gets knocked up. Adam arrives, but the Jax can't really do anything in these fights. He gets a 3-man stun, great, but he doesn't really have any damage at all. And he's not that tanky, so he has to back away as quick as he arrives. And now BDS will get a dragon. It looks like off the back of the tempo drop from G2 towards Nash, but G2 are here to contest. They don't have a smite though.
Caps has a flank position though. Nature's Grasp goes out. Caps in great position here to collapse. Knocked back into the wall. Sheo goes low, so does BrokenBlade, or Sheo loses a bit of health at least. Has to flash the wall. And G2 roar into life in this game. 3,000 gold ahead now, 2.4. And they have the Baron remaining for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, gonna look to play mid to bot, you have to imagine. Side lane tier 2s, they need both of them if they want to keep their foot on the gas for this game. Looks like they're actually gonna take a reset. Maybe Hans has the Ludens in base. Probably has his Mythic. Yeah, he does. Wants to make sure he picks that up. It's a big spike for him, but now BDS have a window.
Rob goes forward. Can't find much more as Mikyx hooks him out of the grand entrance.
They go back towards bot. They might lose that wave to the Jax, but they might chase down the Jax if he tries to do that. BB has TP. He wants to look for it anywhere. Adam's trying to get as much of this wave as possible. Only gets around a melee. Has to run for his life now. I feel like his Poppy is just going to provide so much against these champions of BDS. Stopping engages, stopping escapes. You name it, BrokenBlade can provide it. And right now he'll provide the mid lane push. Ready to TP bot in case anything happens.
Mikyx continuing to look for hooks. Yike setting up for a, I think a zoning sort of flank, not really threatening the dive.
Oh, Labrov also getting spells out as Mikyx lands another hook. Labrov will fall once again. The keeper's burning, knocks back 2. BrokenBlade looking for Crownie, can't quite find enough damage on him. Another hook once again from Mikyx finds Adam, and Caps will follow it up with a 2-man knock-up. Sheo and Nuke the last defenders here for BDS, but G2 just continue the pressure, continue to push forward.
G2 lose their front line, but it doesn't matter. The TP is going to come in for BrokenBlade. The base will begin to fall. And 24 minutes in, close to 25, an inhibitor will drop as well.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? 25 minutes, they're going to get bolted in. This time, 7 or 8 minutes ago, these AD carries were untouched, unkilled with 2 or 3 items under their belt, and they just out so much damage. I just feel like these team fights, someone's getting caught at the start for BDS, or someone's getting caught off on a side lane and they try to collapse and help them. Or the backline just getting exposed to stuns and CC so that G2 can follow up, and Caps wanted to engage here. Finds 2.
Mikyx as well, though.
I mean, BrokenBlade also getting Sheo completely out of the fight meant that Maokai ultimate wasn't available. The biggest utility tool just not there. You can see Yike thought that he dropped tower aggro, walked out, then walked back in, still had it unfortunately, which meant that Nuke was able to secure that kill. But yeah, these AD carries, they just can't get to play the game, and G2 aren't giving BDS any sort of opportunity to breathe. They can't stabilize the game at all, they can't slow it, they can't really find a fight that's in their favor. It's just G2 constantly being the aggressors and looking to punish BDS at every window.
Capital will answer the bot lane wave as that pushes in. Super Minions will help him push that forward. Has the TP as well to join a fight if it does begin. Sheo could look for something here. The Nature's Grasp possible.
Sheo
goes on to BrokenBlade. There's the TP in by Caps, and Sheo is just demolished. I've seen less deforestation in the Amazon. Oh,
Baby Raptor.
Sheo there.
What about the Baby Raptor?
Baby Raptor, Baby Raptor,
Kind of works.
That works a little bit. And you can have a big Raptor, which is very important for
Comes a dive.
the sequence as the depth charge comes out. Caps goes forward and lands a 2-man once again. The Pop Blossom, a flourish on top of a great performance here by G2. Counter-strike though in by Adam as he finds one. Nuke now can open up as well, and it's only Yike and BrokenBlade left to defend here. Adam and Nuke will clean it up, a triple for Nuke to round it out.
It looked like that was going to be the fight that ended the game for G2, but they overcommitted, they overstepped. Nuke was largely untouched, and he was able to turn the fight around. We see the hook connect initially by Mikyx. He uses this as an opportunity to get the ultimate off onto Nuke. He gets away to safety. 2-man Pop Blossom means that Hans Summer and BrokenBlade are diving in. Great stun from Adam onto Hans means that Nuke gets that initial kill. But then look, Nuke is completely untouched, gets the reset onto Mikyx. Then Adam flashes onto Caps, and it was just a massive overcommitment from G2. And Nuke, well, he benefited by getting himself a triple kill.
That really was an overdive, wasn't it? I mean, Hansama just basically ults into melee range of a Jax, gets picked up by Nuke, and it was the left side of the dive that was going well, but the right side trying to follow up were the ones that were a little bit exposed on that dive. And now it's Baron up in 50 seconds. Nuke's picked himself up a BF sword and a stopwatch. Doesn't have flash yet, so hasn't been able to turn those kills into a GA. Adam's got a little bit more damage with the Black Cleaver and a stopwatch of his own. Not ideal situation for the carries. They'd like just one more item on BDS if they get the GA and the more. Same situation for G2. No Rabadons on either of these carries just yet, but Hansama's got the poke. He's not going to be able to land it just yet. Wave push coming through. Double static should shred through it, and BDS probably just want to stay on this top side of the map. Dragon's up. That'll be the third dragon for G2, and the trade-off here is they lose all of the top side vision. They lose all of it. And that gives BDS a window to start up the Baron if they want to. They have double AD carry, and they'll rush it down quick, but they have 10 seconds to work with here, G2. They just need to be careful, because this will go down fast.
Adam down in the bottom lane was answering that pushing wave. TP ward for him. He'll TP in immediately. That Baron already down to 8,000 HP as G2 start to collapse. The hook once again onto Labrov. The keeper's verdict knocks back one, but the Baron secured by BDS. Now G2 can look for more. Caps rooted a long way away. The Nature's Grasp found him around the mid lane. Adam starting to reset. Flash away by Sheo from that hook. BrokenBlade once again, that front line. Adam's going to be watched by Caps here. Counter-strike out by Adam. Sheo on the top side of the fight as BDS begin to be split up just a little bit. Sheo spotted. Caps still coming in. Using the sweepers. He's a little wolf this time, but Nuke with a great buster shot will knock him back. Labrov still locked up and killed off by G2. But the rest of BDS should be able to escape.
So a lot of the engage is gone. There's the more for the Zeri. I think Nuke will have GA in base after that Baron. They'll have Baron up minions. G2 might be able to get a top inhib tower here. I'm not sure if they can overstay for the inhibitor itself. They're down quite a handful of ultimates, but they're going to commit to it anyway. They'll be able to pick this one up. No TP on Adam, but there's TP on Nuke. No real wards behind them. There's pings on the wards though. G2 maybe a bit cautious, thinking there could be a TP behind them, but they'll get out. Back and forth. G2 get the dragon and a kill. BDS get away with a Baron.
Just a great play overall from BDS, I feel. Yes, they did lose their top inhibitor, but sacrificing only one member to get 4 Barons. The problem is they might just be forced to use this Baron to just buy time. Of course, with the inhibitor now respawning in the bot lane, maybe I stand corrected here. They should have a little bit of agency to try and siege if they can. With Nuke's TP, they can always send him off to a side lane to act as wave clear. We'll see what direction they decide to go in. Right now, they're just catching these waves, trying to complete what items they can. Nuke, I imagine, sitting on a decent amount of gold.
Yeah, 100%.
That should be the GA, right?
Yeah, GA, maybe a crit cloak, Vamp Scepter, he should have.
Oh.
Handfly. Maybe he's skipping. Can we check the gold on
I have a feeling.
Nuke? Is he just going straight BT? 1.9, yeah, he's going straight BT.
He wants to, until he uses the stopwatch, he doesn't want to upgrade that until the GA.
Yeah, makes sense. Has the flash as well, so he's a little bit safer.
Only 1,000 gold between these two teams now, though. After a strong start for BDS, G2 started to fight back, and it looked very much like G2 would be able to close things out until that top lane play. Now Mikyx a little bit further forward. The rest of his team has to flash away. They were trying to collapse on Adam. Long-range Voice Seeker does connect. Mikyx isolated. BDS looking for the collapse. The Nature's Grasp. Sheo's just chasing one person by himself. Adam now being locked up. He tries to jump away. Knocked back with the Keeper's Verdict. BrokenBlade doing a lot of work, and Adam will fall first. G2 now collapsing on the rest of BDS. Labrov trying to get across the wall, but the Steadfast Presence will hold him in place, and the Pillar helping out as well. The quickness coming out as they manage to charm Yike. Nuke and Crownie trying to collapse from two sides of the fight, but the pincer movement isn't enough quite yet. Caps falling low. Pop Blossom Caps down before the pop could come through. Crownie now opening up. Oh, Hansama! Hansama dodging away as well, but Crownie's doing so much work! Labrov and Crownie still alive. Crownie trying to dash away from BrokenBlade and Yike. He's at 300 HP, but is that enough to hold on to the game for BDS?
Gonna chase him down here, aren't they? Crownie has just lost the Baron buff, so he doesn't have the Nash recall. He could look to execute. See if he goes into this top rush, but you will get spotted on the tier 2. No matter how you enter this, you have to flash into it. So G2 should see that. Ping's coming down. They know exactly where he is. Stun into the wall.
And he's killed off, but he buys enough time for the respawns to come back out. Adam's back alive.
Wow, what a crazy fight. So it starts off with Mikyx getting isolated medic. You called it in the fight. You're going to see this ultimate come out very early from Sheo onto Mikyx, but then BDS's attention kind of gets moved because now they see themselves in a very difficult situation as the Poppy on the flank knocks away Crownie and Adam loses his life. Now it's a 5 versus 3 and G2 are on the chase. Labrov buys a lot of time as G2 kind of focus Sheo as best as they can, and then when Crownie rejoins the fight, this is when Nuke and Crownie really come online.
Yeah, watch Hansama's movement here, to be honest. Really flawless movement out of the AD carry from G2. Just look at this. The Rakan will try a re-engage. Look at his movement as he presses the E. Oh, just dodges out of the knockup. Makes so he can get some more uptime onto the carries. Crownie then slides away in just a second and the chase comes through.
Really well executed fight overall from G2. It was an incredibly close one though. We will get a pause.
Crab Brave time.
Crab. Wow.
Yeah, what a time to come out into a pause.
Things are getting tense right now. You can see how close these fights really are. A game of inches, often used to describe situations like this.
Yeah.
With their backs against the wall, BDS's base off. Well, I say often, that's not fair. They're in tatters, I should say. But they're doing a good job of holding strong. Just seeing the power of this late game composition and how difficult it is for G2 to just straight up end the wave clear, the damage. It is all very real.
So, while you're going to that replay, I was re-looking at the team fight from Crownie's perspective in their vision, because he was the one who paused. Just curious if there's like a bug or anything that happened. But
apparently there's an audio issue reported by BDS. League officials are currently investigating, so yeah, we'll just see exactly what's going on with that. Reminder, winner of this series gets the honor of representing EMEA at Worlds. EMEA? EMEA at Worlds. As one of our top 3 seeds, they skip planes alongside Mad Lions. Loser will play up against SK. If they win that series, they make it to Worlds as well. Obviously, we still have a few weeks of European competition to get to before we get to Worlds.
Yeah, until September 10th, finals weekend.
I think so, yeah. Over in Montpellier.
Occitanie.
I was waiting for Vedius to do it.
Occitanie.
One thing, we did that promo piece, Quick Shot and I, right?
Yeah.
Where we had the croissants and the baguette. I'm disappointed that we didn't get any angry messages from French fans because the croissants were lie croissants. And apparently that's not a real croissant at all. Like in France, people get very angry if you have lie croissants. So I was expecting more frustration from the fans. See, in the last fight, Adam struggled a little bit to get any damage down, but Crownie putting down the DPS. And 32 minutes in, we have a minute before the next Mountain Drake spawns. Would be the soul for G2 if they can secure it. BDS would go on to soul point. Yike now has a GA complete, 4 items on him. Cap still just a little bit short of 4 items. So spending his inventory slot on vision for the team. Alongside that stopwatch.
BrokenBlade taking, in my opinion, a lot of unnecessary damage here. Clearly, G2's objective is setting up for the Dragon. Getting what vision they can.
They have double Rabadons as well. GA.
Rob hooked.
Whoa.
Adam, counter-strike, gets the double. Stun, but look at the damage onto Labrov. The death charge going to chase him down as well. Adam uses the Zhonya's, Keeper's Verdict, doesn't hit onto anyone. The minions block it. BrokenBlade, though, still in the midst of BDS, is able to get 2. Labrov with the charm onto the big raptor. They thought it was Caps, I guess. So he quickness the Razor Beak.
I think he ulted trying to look for an angle, but
Crownie's killed off by Hansama.
He definitely ulted looking for an angle, but he couldn't find it, and he realized he wasted it. But yeah, Caps could be anything in this game. He's probably a really good hide-and-seek player on the Neeko because he's just turning into whatever it is to get into these fights. He wasn't even part of this one. Didn't get the ult off, didn't get the flash. Pop Blossom.
Still a baby Krog.
30 seconds on Crownie.
Is that just it? Look at the damage coming out from Hansama. These long-range Void Seekers doing so much work. Nuke, Labrov, and Sheo, the last-ditch defense for BDS. Another hook from Mikyx onto Labrov. There's the Pop Blossom onto all 3, and you have to feel it's done. Nuke sniped the double for Hans. Sheo chomped, and another for Hans to boot. It's a triple to round it out as G2 take 3 wins and will make their way to Montpellier and make their way to Worlds.
Hold up, he got a Quadra, Wait, maybe it's gonna go for him.
No, Crownie's not giving it to him. They're all running forward. They can't get it.
Oh, they died.
No Penta for Hansama, but I'm sure he'll be proud of his prize of a position in Montpellier.
Top 3 secured for G2. A well-fought series overall from BDS. We saw some great performances from them. But when it came to fighting in the chaos, G2 just did an excellent job and they came out on top. Excited to see what BDS can do against SK in the lower bracket. They still have another opportunity to qualify for Montpellier and also the World Championship. But G2 will be one of Europe's representatives at this year's World Championship alongside Mad Lions. And as you said, Mikyx, they will have an opportunity to play in front of the live crowd at Montpellier.
Go through to our upper final, up against Mad Lions, as you say, Vedi. And I think coming into the day, the result is as expected. Some of the games a little bit more swingy than others, or at least swingy between games. Like the BDS win was very one-sided for BDS. Even the start of this game was very BDS favored. G2 once again just showing us they are a cut above some of the other teams in the LEC right now.
I mean, massive shout out to BrokenBlade.
Yeah.
I think that game specifically, his Poppy was instrumental in swinging the game around. You already talked so much, Caedrel, in the draft about how effective this pick is when it comes to what it can do against the enemy comp. But wow, his individual play was fantastic.
Big thumbs up from BrokenBlade as well.
Yeah, good gameplay from him. Good gameplay overall in the entire series with the Kled as well, with the Poppy. I feel like he had a good one. And yeah, Yike. The Evelyn didn't work out in the end. This game actually looked really tough for G2. Surprised they came back, but the scrap heavy caps as Neeko. There's a lot of different highlights coming through.
We're just all doing fun. Thumbs up now, are we, Yike? Okay. You can vote for your player of the series at LEC on the website formerly known as Twitter. BrokenBlade, Caps, and Mickey are your options. Twitter. I'll have a bottle of Twitter, please.
Sure.
All great options.
Yeah.
You vote for whoever you would like to. But yeah, wow. Yeah. The series, I kind of expected us to go to a Game 5.
Yeah, same. I thought that was Game 5.
I really thought that was a Game 5 angle. And credit to BDS, because I think that they did surprise. I mean, it definitely surprised me in terms of their performance today. I really thought this would be a swift 3-0 in favor of G2. But yeah, we'll see what they can do in the lower bracket as G2 makes their way to face Mad soon.
Oh, they do. I can see Drakos standing by with Hans Summer. Drakos, take it away.
Thank you very much, Medic. I am joined by the victorious Hans Sama.
Thank you.
Berlin and all the G2 fans celebrating for good reason, as you were victorious. But before we celebrate the moment, I do want to talk a little bit about that last game, because you got away with some stuff in that game, Hans. It got a little dicey there for a little while around the double 80 carries. What were the comms like in such a chaotic game?
I mean, I think the comms were still stable. We didn't panic or something, and I think we looked for a lot of good picks, like pressuring side. I think it was kind of scary when we started to throw, because I think it was like kind of easy to win until I guess Tristana got my shutdown, and she was starting to be mega strong in the game, and double AD carry in the enemy team, super scaling. Yeah, that could be scary, but I think we did a good job in comms to talk about what we need to do, and we won.
Yeah, ultimately we were able to get the victory. Were you caught off guard at all by the level that BDS showed today? We haven't seen them in quite some time. So what did you think of their performance today?
I think they were good some games. I personally thought that they were playing pretty well, especially when they had the Zeri pick. It seems like it's their comfort, and maybe I should have think to ban it on the game 3, but also did a mistake in the ball lane, right? I think that they showed up today. It's always weird to have this kind of break, and then suddenly you see the team that didn't play for many weeks, so your prep is not like as good as before. I mean, like, we don't know much stuff, right? So
yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense. On to you. I think a lot of people expected the G2 win today. Despite that, this is a win that has now locked you in Worlds. And while Worlds is exciting, we're not quite there yet. Instead, I want to talk about being locked to play in France, in Montpellier. The last time you were there, it was in a finals versus G2, playing for Misfits. Since 2017, this is the first time you're going to go back to play. How does this feel for you? Are you excited?
I'm very excited to play Montpellier because well, it's been a while that I haven't been able to play for the French crowd since 2017. But unfortunately, that 2017, I still remember that it ended up on the loss against G2 at 0-3, and I felt kind of bad because like everyone was kind of cheering for us, and for me. The public, so definitely this time around I really want to win in Montpellier. From out the French crowd is crazy. Only living here. Yeah, I'm very excited to be there.
I mean, I think it's a huge opportunity. How do you reflect? I mean, this is like obviously when you look at your career overall, you look a lot at the titles, and I think this is an opportunity to look back at one of the little things, which is like playing, or a big thing in this case, playing in front of a home crowd. How do you feel like you've evolved over the years since we last saw you there? From young Hans, I remember Reckless was shouting you out in his MVP interview at the time.
Yeah.
Kog'Maw Game 3, they banned your Draven, and now they're still banning your Draven, but I feel like you're such a different player to what you were then.
Well, I evolved in many ways. I still have the... actually, in 2017, I wasn't playing... maybe people think that I was playing a lot of this, like, of my signature pick, Draven Kalista, but I didn't play it up until, like, 2018, 2019. But I think I learned a lot on how to lead more, how we play around the bot side, macro and stuff. I evolved about that a lot, and many of the different champions that I can play. Well, I could pick Ezreal today. That's kind of not usual for me. Yeah, I think I evolved a lot since 2017. A lot of up and down, but I'm happy that I'm there, able to win with G2.
Yeah, it feels like on a pretty big up at this point as well. And while you'll play Mad Lions next week, and we'll see who gets to go to the finals. I think general public assessment right now of G2 is that you're the strongest team in the region. Do you think that's a fair read on where you guys are right now?
Well, I think, yeah, it's fair to say that we're strong. I mean, we didn't lose a game, I mean, like Zeri since a while. Even in the best of one in summer, I think we were showing a lot of dominance. But yeah, I'm still looking like maybe some of the teams will show a very, very good play, and I think that they can have, like for example against BDS, like they were picking the Zeri and they showed us some strength, a lot of strength, and they won one game. They could also win the second one, like the last one. I think other teams, yeah, they definitely have their strength and. But so far, I think we are the best.
So, I think you're the best. So this was mostly to set up for the follow-up question, which is, who do you think is the biggest threat to G2 right now in the LEC?
The biggest threat?
The biggest threat. Who's your biggest threat of the remaining teams?
I'm not sure.
Is it because no one's a threat? How confident are you?
I didn't think about it, so I'm not sure. I'm confident against every team that we're going to face, as long as we prepare correctly and, well, focus every week. Because I think I mean, we did a mistake once in the summer split that we didn't really try hard as much, and we almost lost against Excel. So as long as we like keep up the...
As long as you keep up the effort. Okay, you know, fair. I think very G2 answer in the spirit of things. One last thing I want to check out here is the MasterCard play of the day. Now, here's the thing about this play is you had a lot of highlight plays. You're not in this one. And I don't know if you got to see this while we were in game, but this was awesome. So if you didn't get to see this, I would love to get reactions.
Actually, I saw this. I think I was working on base or something.
Do you feel...
That's crazy.
Are you proud of your mid support after a play like that? Like, how do you feel when you watch that moment in game?
Actually, like, I feel like this kind of stuff can be expected because the amount of time they talk to each other and find some crazy stuff, creative stuff. They talked about some stuff every time, and I feel like we could see more from them about that stuff. I feel like it's expected from them to make crazy plays.
I feel like that's a good expectation to have from members of your team, that you just know that they're going to make crazy plays. Well, congrats again, Hans, on qualifying for Worlds, on qualifying for Montpellier. That's us from it. That's all from us here. Wow. English Shard, man, for joining us. Let's give it up one more time for G2. We're going to toss it over to a special edition of PGL with Ender. Woo!